I'd like to call the Town Hall School Admin Building Committee to order. First item on the agenda is roll call. When I say your name, please say here. Diane Allen,
Here?
Kevin Kyra, John Doherty,
Coming.
Jesse Fenley.
Here.
John Doherty's right there.
John's here,
Oh.
George.
It's right there. Come
Come
on in.
John.
Come on in, John. Got a seat for you right here, John. Right here, dear.
Dennis Kelly,
Yep.
Jack Holloway,
Yep.
Paul Malorani,
Here.
Paul Ruggiero,
Here.
Glenn Brand,
Here.
Steve Turner,
Here.
and Pilata's here, Cooper here. We don't
John
have-
Doherty here, too.
What's that?
John Doherty here.
Yep. I
Yep.
called you. We don't have our CMR here tonight, right, Dan? So-
I asked the CM and the designers not to come to either meeting, to be honest with you.
We're reviewing budget items, so.
We're reviewing budget, and to be honest with you, we don't have any issues requiring the board to vote other than a budget-related item on a material change.
Okay.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is the approval from the April 17th minutes. Is
Move
everyone-
to,
I have a, before the minutes get approved, I just have one comment here. On page 2 of the minutes, if you go down to where, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th paragraph, just before public comments there, I was confused with this sentence. It says, Mr. Kyra questioned if there would be any telephones being placed. I think he means telephone poles being replaced.
Okay.
That's what he
I
said.
think he was referring to the pole in the middle of the
Right.
parking lot,
yeah.
Right, so,
which was owned by the phone company but had no purpose since the Swain School went down. And they were using it for like a light for the parking lot. And that-
Okay.
the telephone pole's long gone.
all right. So he said telephones being replaced, and all I'm saying is
I
that
would
just
agree with
said
you. I would agree
telephone
with you. It's
phones
telephone
being,
poles.
being
I
replaced.
mean, I don't want to speak
Be-
for him, but I think
yeah.
that was his intent.
As long as that correction, other than that, I recommend that the minutes be
Telephone
approved.
poles being replaced.
Second.
Okay. Other than any other discussion, so do I have an approval of the minutes?
Just one, members present, Mr. Fennelly, so shows up twice.
What's that?
On the members present on the first page,
Yeah.
Jesse shows up twice. If you just wanna pull it
Ah.
up.
Oh, you are
I didn't
here.
even catch that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
he does that a
catch
lot
that
too.
either, huh? Maybe
Your twin was here, right?
you're trying.
Get 2 votes on the school committee, too?
According to Stephen, no.
Tommy, did you catch those?
I did, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Any other discussion for? I'll entertain a motion.
As amended.
Motion as amended. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jesse Finley. Motion made by John Doherty. Thank you very much.
Good, how you doing?
All right, next item on the agenda will be the discussion on the OAL and the budget. Dan, you passed that information out?
I did pass the budget out.
Sorry.
Unlike the previous meeting, you don't get a PCO log because we have multiple facets going on with this method of construction. CM at risk is a little bit different than design bid build. There are actually 2 contingencies with CM at risk. There's a contingency built into their contract, which they need permission to use. That contingency started at $765,000. We have used $18,170. We have a balance of $747,728 in the internal construction contingency, okay? The OALs, which are owner approvals for contracts for the subs. We have completed the complete buyout of the project, and based on the estimate that we went in with, the OALs came in $39,639 under what we targeted. That $39,639 will transfer over to the internal construction contingency that I just previously talked about. Outside of that, we have the project contingency, which is reserved at this point in time for changes in scope. So changes in methodology or changes in certain things related to the project, they can use the contingency, construction contingency. Changes in scope, we use what I call the owner's contingency. And that we have $1,800,000 in owner's contingency. We have hit the owner's contingency to date for a total of $12,842. So we're doing actually really, really well considering where we stand with the project. From a construction standpoint, the architect's estimate of 300 yards of ledge that we talked about prior to construction appears to be wrong. There appears to be only about 100 yards of ledge, which is good news. And the ledge isn't where we actually thought the ledge would be. So what we hit with the borings was actually giant boulders, which you saw piled up, and we've been breaking up over the past couple of weeks.
Mr. Chairman, through you, how much of a savings is that for us?
The savings on the ledge won't be determined till our final surveying of the ledge and the amount of rock that we had to break up.
Okay,
Because we did have to break up a lot more rock than we expected, although we didn't have to take out ledge. They still have allowances for the amount of boulders over 1 cubic yard
how are we breaking up the rock?
pneumatically.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, so there's no blasting, there's no,
There is no blasting on that site.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Okay? And that work, we hope will be completed Friday. So
Oh, really?
our goal is to have the splitting done on Friday, worst case Monday, if we have weather day.
Mr. Chairman, what are you doing with the rock? Are we putting it back into the substructure for the,
The rock,
Parking lot,
the removal of the rock is the responsibility of the general contractor.
okay,
So he's trucking it off.
okay, because I saw a lot of pea stone over there.
Pea stone is being brought in because it has to be a certain size pea stone for substrate.
Can we use the rock and grind it down?
You could, but you don't have enough to make it a worthwhile venture. It's cheaper to bring in the stone.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
The pea stone you see on site, a lot of that's going into our water infiltration systems that are in place now that you see.
And that's on the town common, right?
No, that's on the student parking lot area. that you'll see
And the town common.
as we go through, but that's currently being done now on that student. And the rocks that Dan was just referring to, there are piles that are being completed today that I saw when I was out there, just walking through the site, and I think they're supposed to be removed all by Friday. So.
Yeah. So we're working diligently to get the subsurface water retention system in and piped in the student parking area, and the parking lot light pole bases and the electrical conduit to the parking lot light pole bases to the student parking area completed, backfilled, and paved with the base coat by the end of the third week of August. That's our goal right now,
Wow.
so that
Okay.
when you have football practice starting, you have a place for them to go. Worst case scenario, it will be done by the first day of school,
That's great.
all right?
Thanks.
From a construction schedule standpoint, just like with the senior center, every part and piece of this building gets submitted for review. We have received back reviews on leveling plates and rebars this week, which are a milestone item for the project. It'll take us about a week and a half to get the rebar delivered to the site. As soon as the rebar is delivered to the site, we're gonna immediately start working on the foundation of the new building. and the retaining wall in the back of the building towards the senior center. You'll see, if you've driven by there, there's a whole bunch of stone, interlocking stone. That's put there because we were getting to the point where we were exceeding certain OSHA requirements on slope, and we wanted to just make sure that we didn't have a cave-in or anything like that, so that wall was put up. It's not actually structural. It's not gonna be part of the final building. It's just allowing the workers to be able to do their job safely.
Before you continue, Diane, did you have a question?
Yeah, what is there's something from Consigli that, I was at a couple of the meetings. He's waiting for some information from IT?
No, you're referring to a ground penetrating radar that we did prior to doing any of the work. Showed an anomaly running pretty much near the trailers. We thought might have been a water line or an old conduit or something. It proved to be nothing. We test pitted it and it was nothing there.
Okay.
So it was just a bad run with the ground penetrating radar.
Okay. Because I thought there was something in his.
He was waiting on the shop drawings for the rebar.
Yeah.
And, we have been working with the designer to make sure those went out this week, and they both have been released.
And the sewer is going to come from Middlesex?
Yeah, the sewer work is gonna start either late this week or beginning of next week, down to tie-in, where the tie-in is gonna be, by the high school.
You'll see all the flags and the area is all marked out on the.
It is, yes,
A
yes.
lot of flags.
What's
Oh,
that?
yeah, there's a lot of,
Yeah.
there's a lot in that comment. I don't know what your forefathers did, but there's a lot of stuff in that comment.
Out on the ground, you
So
said.
the sewer tie-in is gonna go across the common, is that it?
So, I believe so.
Right. Ties right into the sewer main that feeds out of the high school.
Okay.
I see.
Diane, back to your question also, we've been working with the town's IT and the school's IT, Ken Lord and John O'Neill.
Yeah.
On a lot of this, so they're just coming into play on that, and some of it's been the cabling we've been discussing, so that's some stuff.
So that's getting resolved. Okay, good,
Yep.
good. Thank you.
Chairman, what type of sewage is it? Is it,
Gravity fed to the school, that goes down to the pump, and then it's a force main back to the
Okay.
public safety.
so the residents there cannot tie into it?
No, that'll be a force main there.
Thank you.
Dan, you, continuing on with your construction schedule?
From a construction schedule, we're gonna be all foundations and subsurface drainage for the next month. That's just about it.
On time?
Yeah, we seem to be on time right now.
Yeah, I saw all that, water infiltration again going in pretty quick. Everything was getting
And
completed.
interestingly, if everyone remembers when we were going through permitting and design, there was a lot of concern about water, and, we just haven't encountered it.
I know, especially the
that's-
hill is like.
Yeah, we were expecting a little more than we got. We're still putting in the mitigation measures around the building. We're still putting in all of the subsurface drainage to accept all of the anticipated worst-case scenarios that the engineers had encountered. But everything that the engineers told us we would find, we have found, with the exception that the one boring that we hit the rock, we thought was ledge. It's not ledge, it was just a rock.
Giant boulder.
And where we thought we didn't have ledge, we had a little bit of ledge, so.
Any other questions on the schedule?
Schedule.
Anything in terms of lead time on any of the steel or any?
So steel is always gonna be the big item. The steel comes from Canada, and they take 5 weeks off in the summer. So, we're gonna be hitting that 5-week period. We got a lot of concrete work to do, so I'm not as concerned. That retaining wall in the back is big. That's not something that's gonna be built in a day. So, we're expecting to be starting to work on that stuff, and hopefully the steel will come in Right now, the steel is not on the critical path. The critical path is something that we identify each item that's in the critical path, and that if that item in the critical path is delayed, then the project would be delayed. The steel is not in the critical path yet.
Dan, going back to the previous one with the switchgear, where were we with the switchgear for this building?
It's a good question, Dennis. If you look at your budget, you'll see in the yellow blocks, we had a pre-con contract, and we had a pre-con pre-number one, which we ordered the generator and switchgear before we received the bid. So we ordered the switchgear and the generator. Beautiful. For this project before we even had the final bid numbers. So both of those are on schedule for this project. Because the delivery method, we had the ability to do that,
Yeah,
okay?
thank you.
Excuse, Mr. Chair, Dan, what can we expect for delays in items coming in for the project?
As of right now, we don't have any,
Okay,
okay?
great, that's fantastic.
That's subject to change. I don't want you to, make sure you put that subject to change in the minutes, will you?
I will not, not for anything. Because of processing of different things, I've seen a lot of delays and stuff.
So,
And I just want to make sure we're going to be on time.
a year ago, when we were in design of both projects, we had indicated to the town that energy recovery units, meter sockets, main switch gear, were all over a year, all of them.
It was 60 weeks,
Elevators were over a year.
It was 60 weeks, wasn't it?
Some of them were 60 weeks.
Yeah.
So now, only switchgear is over 60 weeks.
Okay.
And we pre-purchased the switchgear on this project, so
Back
we
in
should-
February, right?
So, yeah, so we should be okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Having a little foresight trying to order this stuff in advance. I mean, some of the other project, not this particular one or our other project, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And some of the building you see going on in town, they're looking for
And
material.
you're gonna see full apartment buildings sitting, waiting for switchgear, so,
Really?
yep.
Wow.
So I don't want to put the school department on the spot here. Paul, Glenn, do you guys have any questions? I know with the student parking lot and what's going on, we seem to be moving right along. We're right on schedule with it, so.
Yeah, and even in the worst-case scenario, as you said, the athletics can use the staff parking lot. We should be able to make that work. As long as
We are, you know, we have kept Paul, and I'm sure Paul will agree that we have kept communication open, and anytime that we thought we'd have a date, I've let Paul know what the date is, and anytime I need something, I can always call Paul, but right now, we're on track.
Paul's a little reluctant. He doesn't want to leave his office over there at the moment. All right, next item, change request with a possible vote, so. Ian?
So we do have one change that I would like to talk to the board about. And that is, when we initially did the initial budget, the anticipation of the project was to have certain things. And as we were getting closer to bidding and our estimates were coming in higher, we as a team took some things out. One of the things that we took out were the slate floors. The slate floors are not, you know, they're not free, but they last forever, and they're the least maintenance required,
Yeah.
as Dennis will be happy to hear.
Yeah.
I would like the board to authorize us to spend $344,080 on putting the slate back into all the corridors of all 3 floors.
So
I'll make that motion.
So currently, we have porcelain in there.
Right, we have porcelain.
Yeah.
Can we discuss?
Absolutely, want some
Actually,
discussion
if
first.
you get a second, then we can discuss.
Second,
We have a motion by John Doherty and a second.
for discussion.
Open for discussion.
So for discussion, your best guess, the money we would be saving with the minimal amount of ledge, do you think that that cost may offset?
No,
No, or
will
so
not offset.
are we gonna dig into contingency for this?
You are
or-
going to be digging into one of the two contingencies for this.
And can you help us understand
Okay, so-
how much contingency we have and?
Sorry, I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Yep.
For those that,
Well, hold on, let him explain this,
Right.
and then we'll go.
we had 752,000 in the construction contingency.
Okay.
And we have 1.8 million in the project
Okay.
contingency, for a total of 2.5 million in total contingency for the project. I'm asking for $344,080 to do the slate and the corridors.
Okay.
What is the life expectancy of slate to the porcelain?
The life expectancy of the slate versus the porcelain is probably the slate will definitely last a lot longer. The real issue, John, is that the porcelain scratches over
Okay,
time,
okay, yeah, chips.
and it chips where the slate won't.
You just said it right there.
So
Yeah.
You said it right there, sir.
they're both hard materials. Yes, you could probably get the same length of time out of both, but one will look like crap in 10 years and one won't.
We did visit different locations.
Yeah.
One the other day, they have the slate. We were looking at it, and it does wear very well. We looked at another one where the porcelain was there and the edging was chipping. It was a 10-year-old building, especially on the stairs. In
Yeah.
a few of those areas, I was kind of surprised, so.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Dennis, maintenance.
Maintenance-wise, for us, it's gonna be easier to take care of the slate in the long term, and it's gonna be hold up better. When you think of, like George was saying, chipping, you drop something on porcelain, it cracks, now we're taking that out and replacing tile, and trying to match it. We'll have some Maddox stock, I'm sure, but I would prefer the slate as far as longevity of the product and use, is maintenance of it.
So this discussion did come up in one of our construction meetings, and I felt that it was something for this committee to discuss.
The slate has a thinner joint, so the grout on the
You won't see as
ceramic
much.
has a thicker grout. It's harder to clean the grout. The grout will need to be replaced more often with thicker grout than the thinner grout.
Okay.
It's a little bit more labor intensive to install, but once it's down, it's
It's over and done with.
Right?
Is it like a blue slate, a dark blue slate? Is that the coloring out of it, or a dark gray or
It's
something?
a dark gray
Dark gray.
slate. You've seen the slate, you probably don't remember, but
We saw it here.
the architect did
nice.
bring us the slate when we thought we could afford the slate. Fortunately, with the file sub bids that we got and the buyout that we got, we can afford the slate again. And, we should go back to what was recommended and you guys liked.
Thank you.
all right, so, any, go ahead, Steve.
So through you, what's the timing on installation of slate, and do we need to decide that now, or should we wait to see if anything else comes up before we decide to make this change? As in, do we have to decide tonight, or if we waited 2 months and if something happened in 2 months that was a cost overrun?
Most of the changes that occur on a construction site occur with the site.
Yeah.
Based on where we are with the site today, I wouldn't be here making the recommendation if I didn't feel confident that we have plenty of money.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All right, then I'll put that to a vote. We've had a motion, we had a second. All in favor of changing from porcelain to slate for the, was that $334,880?
$344,080, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none? Carries. Thank you. All right. Any other discussion? I don't have anything else on the agenda.
The only thing that, we can talk about if you'd like, is, that we are gonna be working on the property line, which is why they're probably here tonight.
Yeah, before I start
Yeah.
reaching out. so
Yeah,
I wanted to go through the committee members first. And
This project was surveyed when we went to design, and it was, pretty evident when we went to design that there was encroachments on some of the properties on the right side of the project. Now that we've cleared everything and we've done our layout, we resurveyed the line, and it's right where we thought it was, and we are going to have to deal with the fact that we are going to be moving our fence to, the property line.
I know the administration has reached out, we're going to try to set up a meeting for next week
With the butters.
with some of the abutters, so.
Through you, can you clarify which line you're talking about? Talking about the line behind the
The
Fourth of
line
July
that, the
building?
line
or-
that would be perpendicular to Middlesex Ave that runs behind the July 4th
Okay,
building.
got it, thank you.
And real quick, when you say the administration, you mean town manager?
Town manager,
Town administration, thank you. Can you say that again? I don't think the audience heard you.
Yeah, so I saw his email go out, and I was CC'd on it, so he's trying to set up with some of the abutters on the property.
That are affected by the lot line.
Correct.
So you're saying
They were encouraged to come tonight to talk about that. So there's an additional meeting next week.
This is the building committee, so the town manager, myself, did you see the email that was sent out? If not, I know he's trying to set up a meeting on site so we can review where the stakes are, the surveyed lot, what trees, the ones that have been identified. There are some that are gonna remain, so, just so everybody knows. For us to discuss it here through this committee, they are not aware of it, so that way we would go out there and meet on site and everybody would know exactly where everything falls.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is it appropriate for me to make a motion that the town send an actual letter in the mail to the abutters regarding this?
That's up to the town administration, that's not up to us. I can make that
I think
recommendation.
Eric did.
Yeah, so,
In going forward, if there's an issue like that, can we send US mail as opposed to email? I know that I don't always read my emails from the town, but I know that whatever comes in my mailbox, I read. So maybe going forward, maybe that's just a better,
I can talk.
absolutely, yeah. Thank you.
I agree with that. I think that's a good recommendation, yeah.
Absolutely.
I will state that the issue needs to be resolved in the next couple of weeks to meet the deadline of having the student parking lot done.
May I make a suggestion? Be certified mail?
Okay, I will discuss that with the
That
town
we
manager.
get a receipt that they actually received it.
Again, this committee can discuss with the administration. We can make recommendations.
We were told to come tonight to voice our concerns as residents.
Okay,
We in the right space?
yeah. So when I go out, I don't have a section here for public comment, but I would like to hear from, I know we've spoke, we've had a few meetings, so,
We have George.
yeah, so. If you'd like to get up,
I'm loud enough, I can.
No,
For the
right to the mic.
Go
please.
ahead.
Marlene Tilsley, 4 Powder House Circle. I'm one of the 2 homes that directly abuts the expansion of the parking lot. We learned about this expansion piece of the project quite by accident. We were never informed, even though we were told we were given a letter in certified mail. I received a copy of that later on, and I had never seen this, and I showed it to some of the residents. They have also never seen this letter. We are now being told that the parking lot is being expanded 8 feet towards the residents. And then the fence is going to extend 20 feet from the 8 feet. So as you can imagine, that's coming pretty close to our homes. Over the years, our houses have seen trash, debris, vapes, needles, anything you can imagine comes over the fence. And we have maintained this land. I've lived there for 12 years, and the residents that lived in my home previously, 60 years, have maintained the property. So to say it's now town land is really a disservice to me and to my neighbors, and it's disrespectful to say that you're gonna come and now take everything that gives us privacy, all of our trees, the fence. We're pretty much beside ourselves.
We are.
Um,
We're glad you're really, really well, but we're not well.
We're not well. This is land that my children play in, and to them, it's their backyard. So we're just asking that you figure out a different way. You said the Swain Green is to be preserved. Well, what about the trees? Do those not need preserving? Lisa, do you have anything to add?
Can I ask you just a question?
Sure.
Through you, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
The letter you saw that you said you never received, what was
Yep.
that date on that letter?
Conservation Commission.
December 26th? December 6th, 2023?
Concom hearing.
And does that say certified, or did they say it was certified?
He said it was certified. It doesn't say certified on it. Actually, it says sample.
This copy of the green card with the signature
Who
on
was signed for?
And who would have sent that, town or,
it.
Town.
Conservation, through the town.
okay, can you recheck on
And,
that?
and again, within this letter,
We did.
within this letter, it never states any of the trees to be removed or
Okay.
that the expansion of the parking lot is coming anywhere near the homes.
And on that same note, to the OPM, is there any, in the design, is there any buffer or any kind of mitigation?
Every design has a tree.
Hang on one second.
Every single job.
The only update we received, which was after the fact, was this, and it shows nothing, it says nothing about the tree removal, it says nothing about the 8 feet expansion, and actually in the diagram, the trees that in question are all there.
May I?
We have one more question.
I understand you've taken over approximately 12,000 square feet of town-owned land,
Okay?
okay? You've not paid taxes on it,
You guys put the fence here in 1950. That's not our problem.
not for
You
anything?
guys put the fence up.
No, sir, let me
Okay.
speak, okay?
Let me speak too.
Okay? You've taken over town-owned land, okay?
Okay?
I am a representative on this committee from another committee, which I'm chairman of, okay? The Finance Committee. We report to the town residents, the taxpayers. We don't report to this committee, town administration, or the select board, okay? And I would like to find out why you've taken over so much land that's town-owned, okay? And I'd like to research what I can do civilly, criminally, and financially against you.
Wow.
Okay? Not for,
Wow. Well, so, when,
not for anything. You've taken over.
We have been,
Wow.
we have been great neighbors.
Hold on,
Great
hold on.
neighbors.
who is liable
Hold-
for,
hold
who
on.
is liable
Hold
for
on,
the
hold
things
on,
my
hold on.
child had
Excuse me,
picked up
hold on.
on town
I'm-
property?
I'm
John,
speaking-
excuse me,
John?
excuse me. OPM, please.
So encroachments on town properties are not uncommon. You know, I built throughout the Commonwealth, it happens. The key to the encroachments is trying to come up with a solution. On this particular situation, the encroachments are about as bad as I've ever seen. I mean, I've never seen a 30-foot encroachment before. Usually it's a few feet.
People did not do it. I'm sorry.
Listen, let me finish, let me finish, okay? I know that the fence went up in 1952, all right? But if the fence was in the middle of the lot, that wouldn't give them the right to go all the way to the middle of the lot either. But I get it. We get how it happened, all right? There are trees that have been taken down on town property in the past decade and a half that have been taken down, not by the town. So we've researched this whole thing back to try and find out how it happened. We're not trying to be uncooperative, all right?
Sounds like he is.
He's one person of a committee of 12, all right? So we're not trying to be uncooperative. We do need to find a solution to the problem, all right? But the project has to be built. And the parking lot has to be built,
So,
okay? And the reason the parking lot has to be built is because of the number of spaces that are needed for the project. So we can't take the Swain Green because the discussion on the Swain Green occurred at town meeting, and we promised not to take the Swain Green. So there are back and forths that we've done. The letters that you got and we have signed receipts for, whether you read them or not, are requests to go to a conservation hearing. And the conservation hearing was to deal with the wetland that is immediately north of you, that weeps out of the side of the hill. We had 3 hearings on that wetland, 3 hearings. So there were opportunities to discuss it. There were no planning opportunities. You are correct. In this town, there's no permit for the town to get, like a planning board permit. So you are correct, you got notified once. But as the OPM, as the person building this, I want to be a good neighbor. I want to try and find a solution, but we have to build it. We surveyed the lot line last week. We put stakes every 5 or 10 feet. Some of the stakes are already been pulled out. All right?
They said we
My 4-year-old kid was
have
grabbing him and got
kids.
his hand on one, so I had to pull it out.
I understand that.
They told us we could pull them out.
Nobody told you can pull out. It's against the law to pull out a
Excuse me.
surveyor stake.
Excuse me. Don't
You
tell me
can't.
no one has.
Nobody would tell you can pull a stake
Sir,
out.
do you want a name?
Yeah, I want a name.
I won't do this in public, but I'll talk to you after. I'll
All
give
right,
you the
so,
name.
listen, I stated in the beginning that the town manager has reached out. Monday or Tuesday, we're looking to schedule a time where we can meet on your property, and we can review this. We can review the trees that will remain, the trees that will be removed. We'll have our site superintendent, we can have our OPM, we can have our building superintendent, and we'd gladly walk through and meet and discuss with you.
And I do think we need to find a solution. And when I mean find a solution, if a barrier is needed, or a row of trees are needed, or a combination of the two are needed, something needs to happen. And that's my goal, as trying to, build the project without, totally stopping my, progress.
You said that this is creeping up onto the critical path, having to build this area.
The critical path for the parking lot.
For the park, to be able to turn over the parking lot in time.
Right.
So we obviously, want to see, decisions made. It sounds like you've already got them made, but if there are alternatives where we can avoid taking as much of these people's land, our neighbors' land, your town hall's land, I think that those could be explored. How many parking spaces are we really looking to need?
This committee doesn't have the right, under the law, to say you can have town land,
Right.
okay?
But-
What this committee
But what
can
could
do,
happen- what
as
could
part of the
happen
project,
is to slow down, right? And then
Yes.
we're delaying the schedule, and nobody wants to see that happen. I think that these people need to be taken care of, and that they need to be compensated for anything that you guys might be taking from them in their eyes. You guys just spent $300,000+ at the blink of an eye in contingency for slate tile on the floors in 2 minutes that we've been here. So I believe if there's.
Just for clarification, sir, of this committee, we are not taking anybody's personal property.
I understand what.
Just for clarity, this committee, the town is not in for taking their land, their legally owned property.
Right, no,
We're not
I
doing-
understand.
just for
I
clarification.
I understand all of it. I'm neighbors with Marty and Marlene, and I've heard all about it, and, I think that they deserve a fair look at this thing, and I think if.
And we
it's
are
a
going
matter
to
of-
meet with them either Monday or Tuesday, if you could just reply to the email.
It just came today. I just saw it this
so
afternoon.
That- okay.
the object is to try and come up with a solution.
There's gotta be a solution.
There's gotta be a solution.
We gotta think of the carnival
Can-
next year too, so the carnival's going back there. It's not like the Ferris wheel's gonna be close to my house now. And we've been in favor of the carnival, we're in favor of the new town hall, just not this one expansion towards the houses.
That can be discussed with the
I-
4th of July Commission.
Right.
Right, but that's
They
not an
did the
issue we're
layout.
gonna face now, because the Ferris wheel's gonna be close to our house now too, it just.
Think
you know.
about what you think mitigation would work. Come with an open mind next week. Let us present exactly where the line is, show you in diagram where the line is, so everyone understands what your true property is, what the town's true property is, where the parking lot's supposed to go, where the fence line is supposed to go, so everyone understands it, and let's talk it out rationally. All right, not irrationally, rationally.
Do we have access on the town website to the plans and specifications for this project?
I don't think so, no.
I think this makes it-
There's a set of plans in this selectman's office.
Okay, but there's no.
It's not digitized on the web.
What about the construction manager? Are they using any cloud-based software where residents can access plans to the specifications?
Your residents are not gonna be able to access that contractor's software.
Oh, you laugh
But
at
we do have cloud-based software, but the residents aren't gonna be able to have
I find
access.
it hard to believe that we don't have access to digital files for the.
We do.
You do, but what
Yeah.
about the residents?
No one's asked me to post
Oh, I
digital
think- I
plans.
think that's something that should absolutely be available to the taxpayers.
We can discuss
As
it.
well as copies of the critical path construction schedule.
I have to check on security for that.
Can I ask another question,
George.
please?
Could you just remind people to say their name and address when they speak for the minutes?
Look at this poor guy's dying over here.
The current parking lot, the way it's set up and has always been, is the parking lot ends and the chain link fence begins. With this new expansion, the parking lot is being extended 8 feet, but then the fence will not come for another 20 feet. Can I ask why?
We'll have to take a look at it with you on the drawing when we get out there, and I don't believe that is correct. I think,
Well, that's
I
what we
think
heard from
it
you.
was 9 1/4 feet from the lot line back towards there, and I'm not sure, I don't have them in front of me, but
But it's not, the fence is not going where the parking lot is ending, like it is now.
I
The
believe.
fence
it-
will not be immediately adjacent to the paving,
Why?
because as soon as a kid overextends his drive, he's gonna go through a fence.
Right. For
But that's
plowing.
how it is right now.
And I don't know what to tell you.
You don't have the
That's
answer.
No,
No.
it's not the way we designed fences today. I can't tell you what they did in 1952.
Oh, okay. Great.
There are standards today that we meet, and there's standards from the end of pavement to a fence. There are standards for snow removal and storage of snow. There's all sorts of things that we've taken into account.
So when the town
That
put
doesn't mean, that doesn't
Sir, you
mean.
don't have to raise your voice.
You interrupted me. It doesn't mean that we can't talk about where the fence line's going.
Okay.
I'm trying to be reasonable with you.
It doesn't sound like it.
Mr. Chairman, Paul Shallow, 448 Hopkins Street.
Hey,
Do
Paul.
the abutters have any claim through adverse possession to this
No.
property?
If it was private to private, you could,
I know you
Make-
can't lay claim to an agency of the Commonwealth, but is it,
we
Municipality.
are a body politic of the Commonwealth.
well, what's the general law that you're, I know there's a general law for the
The
Commonwealth.
40A, chapter 40A is land use.
Okay,
So I think adverse possession is in 40A. You can't do adverse possession to a body politic, and the Commonwealth is a body politic, and the town of Wilmington is a body politic to the Commonwealth.
could you find out the exact general law
Sure.
and provide it to,
I'll bring the law to the meeting that we're having with the abutters.
when is that meeting?
We haven't decided yet. It's supposed either Monday or Tuesday of next week,
It's an on-site.
on site.
It's right in my backyard.
Yeah, come on over.
Yeah.
I'm Lisa Ferranti, 2 Powder House Circle. I've been a resident of Wilmington for the last 39 years, a resident of 2 Powder House Circle for the last 31 years. I am horrified. I'm just completely horrified at this process. It has been so disrespectful. I found out from a land surveyor while gardening that the fence was going to be moved up 9 1/4 feet. Now, it was originally 8 feet, he had said. The trees are already marked. You guys know what you're cutting down. You're cutting down the most gorgeous, biggest trees that give us the most shade and block us from the noise that's incredibly loud and the pollution and everything else you have in that parking lot, from car shows to car washes to carnivals. And we have been good neighbors. We have been such good neighbors keeping that space clean and weed-free. And we get a big, screw you pretty much for our green space, but you can preserve other green space where you could make more parking spaces. You can use the parking spaces at the old senior center, which is already a parking lot. It's already a parking lot. But instead, for some reason, it's hyper-focused on this area in back of the July 4th building. It has been that way for years. My husband can tell you how it happened with our old neighbor, if you want to tell them how it happened, because I know you didn't get a chance.
I'm Joe Ferranti, 2 Potter House Circle. I've got nothing really to give you people, but to say that Marty and Marlene took over that land is incorrect. They had no idea. They moved in. That was the way that Jeff, our neighbor, who was a great guy, Jeff left it that way. They didn't know. All right, so just in their defense, you don't have to attack them that they stole land. You don't have to go after them in court. All right? You're taking your land back. It's the town's land. Enjoy it.
I am just here to say, please cause the least amount of harm as possible to the neighborhood that has been so good to the community events throughout the years. And this is how we're thanked. I mean, we realized there were meetings, but I was in contact with my friend Don on School Street for the meetings. You made us feel like, oh, it's our fault. We didn't attend the meetings. We're not ignorant. We knew what was going on. I was at the vote at the high school when the town hall building went through with the senior center vote. I was counting the votes as an election official. Never, ever in my wildest dreams did I ever realize how I would personally be affected by this. And I don't think people who voted for it really realized the amount of the sound that is being generated by this huge machinery that's shaking my house. And I don't want to take up too much airspace because I know other people are here to talk about why there's not more sound barriers for what's going on right now, because it's incredible. And I'm actually worried about the foundation of my house. So I hope nothing happens. I'm glad you guys are great and the project is going well, but it's been a nightmare. And I just want to express that it's been a nightmare. And I thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Absolutely.
Candace Jenkins.
Can you take the mic?
Yeah. Here. I'm loud. I can be loud.
Yeah, microphone.
Okay, here we go. Candace Jenkins, 8 Drury Lane. So I have a question. I know that you're going to talk to them about, trying to find a happy medium. But I know that you said it was stated or voted on in some other committee of some sorts that you can't touch the Swain Green. Is there a way to find the happy medium by taking it back to said board or said committee that voted and said, please do not touch the Swain Green, to take back some of that land? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a pretty big area. And I don't think when you think of like how much you're gonna take from these people, I don't think it needs to be paved and a fence put up. I mean, I agree that I can understand, the pushback between if it's town-owned land versus not. I get that, and I get those things can come up. But do you need to push the parking lot that way? I'm not saying that you need to give them, take the land fully from them, and you know what I mean? Like, is there a way to finagle this a little bit so that the burn is a little bit not
This
as bad?
committee here is tasked with building this project.
I understand that, but
So as far as making changes and things like that, that would be a question you take to your town manager, and then you can
right.
ask him.
So I'm just understanding because you had mentioned, is it Dan?
Yes.
You had mentioned that those were conversations that were had. How is there a means to get those people in front of these folks with the meeting next week? To find a happy
The concept of changing the parking lot, and when I mean changing it, I mean seriously changing it, adding a row of parking over at
Yeah.
Swain Green. That requires re-engineering, going back to the Conservation Commission, all sorts of things, because it's a different hydrology that we've calculated for the way we have it now. the question of, can you move a fence, or can you save a tree, that can be accomplished, if it works out, and I'm not saying it does. I think there's a happy medium that can be found that, do I think that everyone in this room is ever gonna be fully satisfied? No. Do I think everybody on this committee is gonna be fully satisfied? Probably not either. But I do think there's a medium where we're all gonna leave somewhat happy. And I believe that we can do that. I mean, there is a lot of room there. The thought of us just saying, no, you can keep using that land is a precedent the town can't do. It owns parcels throughout the whole town of Wilmington that other abutters could do the same thing. It's not as simple as.
Trust me, I fully understand. I live behind the old senior center, and I'm horrified to figure out what the heck you guys are going to do with that building, and if you're going to sit there and say, "Oh, sorry, that fence isn't yours."
They will.
I know, so that's why I'm going to be honest with you, not loving too much how the town's dealing with all this. So
We're not tasked with the senior center, although
I know
the
that.
parking lot at the senior center is part of our count of spaces. So,
I'm just saying, it would be nice that, I understand that you're talking about,
Yeah.
I understand there's different things of where the spots go, but were these spots in the original plan, or was there re-engineering done to add those spots?
the original.
Okay.
From day one, that was the
So why weren't people given that plan? Why do we have a
You
notice
are-
that
you-
has the trees there?
So, I know you're saying you didn't get notified, but we have certified.
You
we
have my
certi-
signature. It's not attached to anything. I got a piece of paper that said sample.
You got a piece of paper that said there was a meeting, that's what
The green card.
was informing you of a conservation meeting at which this committee presented every square inch of that site. And there were, some of the abutters that are here were at that meeting. And they also raised questions that required us to go back a second time. And they also raised questions that required us to go back a third time.
I know, I was there.
Yeah.
I was at all of them. I don't remember
Did you
that.
receive that letter?
No, actually, I didn't.
Every
I think
resident
you
I've
were the
talked
only,
to
were
has
you,
not received that letter.
Don, somebody was the only one, there was only one person that got it. You got one letter, and I remember you texted it to me, and I was like, nope, never got
Any
it.
other discussion? Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, they signed first.
I think it's gonna be good to send out a certified letter whenever that meeting takes place.
Well, that's with just the abutters, and that's gonna be for next week, and they're gonna have to talk with the town manager. So I'm just
Are you
waiting.
part of that meeting,
Part of that
Josh?
meeting.
Okay. You are, Dan, too?
As an extra.
Hello.
As an extra.
Let me know when that's happening.
Yes, John, George.
There's a quorum, George, we have to follow up the meeting. Dave Robbins, so we might not be able to attend. Because it's the same quorum.
We need to meet the requirements for the time.
We have one more person at the microphone.
Hello.
Hello?
Thanks for the heads up.
My name is Rondi Holland. I live at 28 Glen Road. I'm an abutter to Powderhouse Circle and Lumax Circle. My property basically abuts both circles. I've been a member of this committee for about 10 years, and I've been a member of the planning board for 22 or 23. I can't even remember how long. It was a long time. Anyway, I do have one suggestion that the committee might want to consider, because I have not seen the site plan. It'd be great if you could just post the site plan that shows the existing conditions and the new conditions, especially with the survey. But have you considered putting in some compact parking spaces rather than full parking spaces, which compact spaces are 8 feet wide as opposed to 9 or 10 feet wide, and they're, a standard parking space is 10 by 18. A compact space can be 8 by 14 or even 13, depending, there are a lot of smaller cars. But that would give you the opportunity to look at how much space you're taking, at least on the paving side. It would be nice, like I said, I haven't seen the site plan. Usually the planning board does site plan review, which this never came before the planning board because I was on it through April.
Thank you.
I
I'll
was
take
just
that into
surprised that
consideration.
it never happened. It's all right. But it may be a thought to giving you the same quantity of space as you need without actually increasing the pavement area. So.
John?
Randy,
Yes.
great suggestion, okay? However, I have been in disagreement with several members on the committee to electric vehicle parking, okay? And by 2030, I believe, several manufacturers are going to do all electric, okay? And they're not small vehicles, okay? Some are SUVs or whatever. But I actually like your idea. It's a great idea. And
Well, I know a Mini Cooper is a lot smaller than a Cadillac SUV.
well, I have a
All right, we're just getting a little off topic. Thank you
XS80,
very much.
okay? It's huge, okay?
I know, Steve, some people have to leave at the 8 o'clock. Any other discussion from this committee?
I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Robinson is out in the hall. Did he want to attend
Is he
this?
coming in to speak?
I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, please.
Yes, invite him in.
Did you ask him? Did he want to speak?
Thank you for making it, Representative.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate
I know
it.
they have stuff in the hall.
Did you want to speak, Mr. Representative?
Oh, well, I'm sorry for coming in a little late. I'll just talk for a few seconds. I apologize because I obviously don't know the context between the parties. The folks at Powder House called and a few sent emails with concerns about the privacy access from the town hall project there. So I came down just as a private resident today, given this is nothing to do with official state duties, but just to ask to have consideration to restore the privacy when it's there. It's going to be.
If you want total respect, I would provide you all the information. We can have the discussion on that.
Please,
We've already, we're going to be meeting the abutters next week, either Monday or Tuesday, and you're more than welcome to join that meeting.
Sure. As long as they don't call me in for a vote late, again, kind of like today, I'm happy to be here. Otherwise, I'll talk to you beforehand.
I also reached out to your office about the noise.
Yes, I'm sorry, the noise of construction.
So,
if,
I will talk about the noise for a second.
Okay,
We do have monitors.
Are we through with Powder House, or, I mean, the taking of land, or is there somebody else before we move on to the noise?
Is he running the meeting?
Yeah, hold on, yeah, excuse me. Did you want to make a comment
Sure.
on the noise mitigation?
Sure. So we did get a letter, which we have not responded to yet. We're collecting our data on it, regarding noise and dust. The noise level measured on the project has been 86 dBs. OSHA requirement is not to exceed 90. We're at 86, and the 90 is for 8 hours straight. When we're not 8 hours straight, we're intermittent. But it is close to the 90, and that's the pneumatic hammer, and the pneumatic hammer, as I've indicated, should cease to be used probably Friday or Monday at the latest.
How many monitors do you have, and where are they located?
I can't give you the exact locations. I talked to
Also,
the
I just-
contractor this afternoon.
ROPM, Wilmington does not have a noise ordinance.
No, but there are standards that we have to meet. With regard to the dust, we do have a watering truck that does go back and forth. We have been fortunate with the amount of rain that we have, but there is going to be an occasional dust that we don't catch, and we'll try to hit it as quick as we can with the water. The quicker we get that pavement down, the quicker the dirt and it will end, and that's one of our goals.
Okay, can I speak now, or I'd like to go?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you.
And while Don walks up, can I just ask a question? The OSHA thing that you're talking about?
Mhm.
Okay, hold on.
Shoot, go.
I was just gonna say the OSHA the OSHA.
OSHA standard.
OSHA standards. is that strictly for the workers on site who are wearing?
It's sound leaving the site.
Okay.
The
I just
monitor,
wanted to make sure.
the monitor's on the site boundary, I just don't know, he asked for an exact location, and I'm not gonna lie to him and say it's here.
No,
and
that's
it's
fine.
not.
I just wanted to make sure when you say OSHA, I think of workers on the site and they
Well-
have PPE, they have the proper
Right.
PPE.
Yeah, no,
on.
OSHA also is sound for
That's
air
fine. Just
protection.
wanted to make sure.
And they have the monitoring, I know the site superintendent's just been doing it with
Yeah.
his equipment, but not recording it, there's no ledgers, there's no,
I
so.
just wanted to make sure, because obviously we're not all wearing PPE sitting in our homes and our.
No,
Did you just say he has a variable? He's walking around with it?
I believe so, isn't that what Jack was?
I think he has a variable, and I think he has a stationary too, but I'll, you know, again, I will give you the exact
Thank you.
information when I have the exact information.
I'd appreciate that. As the abutters of the new town hall school administration building,
Name?
Donald Lysko, 16 School Street. The abutters of the new town hall school admin building would like our health concerns addressed. We are sleep deprived, irritable, and stressed. Some of us are suffering from headaches and migraines. Our homes are disrupted. Family and work life are being affected. For the past week and a half, Concilia Construction has escalated the construction noise on the ongoing project. They have started ledge removal without any sound monitoring or noise abatement in place. The new town hall project is in the middle of an existing residential neighborhood. We are families, retirees, veterans, hardworking citizens of your community. The exceedingly high sound levels we are experiencing are affecting our health and welfare. I am saddened that a company with an annual revenue of $2.65 billion.
All right, excuse me, sir, I'm letting you speak here, I just wanted to hear it. You've heard us speak about the dust mitigate, you've heard about the control. I don't want to talk about our CMR, I don't want to talk about some of that other stuff. These hours of operation are between 7 and 3:30 during the week.
Why is there no sound mitigation in place? Why is there just chain link fence and a tarp?
There is no requirement for that.
So we just block our ears and pretend it's not happening? The noise isn't there, the vibration's not happening?
It's a
I've said
construction
enough.
site, sir.
Yeah. And we live next to it.
Fortunately,
Other than that, committee members, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
have a second.
A second?
Other people want to talk.
I have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Done.